Good morning, dear children. Children, today we are going to talk about the world of machines. The world that always fascinates us. We always love to talk about machines because we know how machines have revolutionized our lives and how these machines have added comfort to our lives. So we can't resist the temptation of talking about machines and we want to explore more and more. This fact cannot be denied. So today we are going to read one such poem on machines. The name of the poem is The Secret of Machines, written by Rudyard Kipling. And I'm sure you all know who Rudyard Kipling is, and you all are fond of reading Rudyard Kipling, right? So I'm sure he has something for each one of us in this poem as well. So what is that? For that, we need to read the text. But before that, let me give you an overview of the poem. So this poem is divided into 8 stanzas, children, of which 4 consist of 8 lines and the other 4 have 4 lines each. And this poem can be divided into 3 parts. So first part talks about the evolution of machines and also the privileges given to mankind. And if we look at the second part of this poem, it deals with all the extraordinary works machines are capable of doing. For example, landscape shaping. And the third part talks about the dangers humans are exposed to as a result of machinery use. And we all know that we are exposed to certain dangers. But at the same time, we can't help it. Because somewhere, we have become the slaves. We are the ones who have created these machines, but at the other end, we have become the slaves also of this machinery. Because we can't think our life, or we can't imagine our life now without machines. So we all know how important these machines are for each one of us, or they have become for us. How important they have become for us. Right, children? So let me give you the brief introduction of this poem. The Secret of Machines is one of Rudyard Kipling's best poems. The poem was written and published in the year 1911 during the technological revolution. Machines in this poem speak to human beings about themselves. They talk about themselves. They tell us how the metals that are taken from the ore bed are created. The metal ores are extracted from the mineral beds and mines. They are melted in the furnace and hammered to make equipment for construction. The machines must run on water, coal, and oil. They are happy to help us 24 hours a day. They can do all kind of work similar to human beings. However, they also warn us that they work according to the laws of physics. They reveal a blunt reality that they don't love or forgive and cannot recognize a lie. Unlike humans, they do not have any emotions. If treated carelessly, the consequences can be catastrophic. They conclude, stating the fact that they are nothing but the creation of the human brain. So before we read the text, let's talk about the author. Yes, Joseph Rudyard Kipling is one of the greatest authors of English, born on 30th December 1865. He wrote numerous poems, short stories, and novels. And most of these, were inspired by the culture and geography of India. And if we look at some of his notable works, it include The Jungle Book, Just So Stories, Kim, Captains Courageous, and If. He did his high schooling from the United Services College at Westward Ho. He had served as a newspaper reporter with various Anglo-Indian newspapers in 1882. In 1886, he published his first volume of poetry titled Departmental Ditties. Now, let's have a look at the text and understand it. The first stanza. We were taken from the ore bed and the mine. We were melted in the furnace and the pit. We were cast and wrought and hammered to design. We were cut and filed and tooled and gauged to fit. Some water, coal, and oil is all we ask, and 1,000 of an inch to give us play. And now, if you will set us to our task, we will serve you 24 hours a day. And yes, it's true. They're always at our service. So in the first stanza, the machines inform us how they were made. They describe their journey from the ore beds to becoming a tool. They also discuss their credibility to last and work for 24 hours a day. Unlike humans, they do not need any break. We need break, but they can work without break also. If provided with water, coal, and oil, they can work constantly without stopping. Let's have a look at the word meanings. So, ore bed means place in the earth where minerals are found. Furnace means hot fireplace. Wrought means beaten and shaped. Gauged means measured exactly. And give us play means to give space to move. Now let's have a look at the second stanza. We can pull and push and lift and drive. We can print and plow and weave and heat and light. We can run and race and swim and fly and dive. We can see and hear and count and read and write. So all the work that is done by machines is mentioned in this stanza. So this stanza describes a number of tasks that the machines can perform for us. Earlier, all these tasks were done by humans, but with the advancement of technology, machines have gradually taken them over. And yes, they have changed our life forever. So, machines are telling about themselves that what all they can do. So there is nothing that they can't do. They are capable of doing almost everything. How efficient they are. Now let's move ahead and read the next stanza. Would you call a friend from half across the world? If you will let us have his name and town and state, you shall see and hear your crackling question hurled. across the arc of heaven while you wait. Has he answered? Does he need you at his side? You can start this very evening if you choose. And take the Western Ocean in the stride. Of 70,000 horses and some screws. Look the way these lines have been written by Rudyard Kipling. Commendable. The poet is actually making us feel what he has written. I hope you all will agree with this. So the machines describe how essential they are for communication. They help in transmitting information across the world. In 1866, the world's first telegraph cable was invented, and in 1878, Alexander Graham Bell had come up with the telephone. Both of them were a revolution in the field of communication. It became much quicker and reliable. The machines tell their power to be equivalent to that of 70,000 horses. And it's true. The boat express is waiting your command. You will find the Mauritania at the quay, till her captain turns the lever neath his hand, and the monstrous 9-decked city goes to sea. So in this stanza, he talks about the enormousness of machines. Like, it talks about big ships which have 9 decks, which is metaphorically called a monstrous 9-decked city in the text. It shows the ability of machines to work on the water surface. Machines work under human command. So if you look at this picture, you all can see Mauritania here. It's an ocean liner designed by Leonard Pesquet and built by Swan, Hunter and Wigham Richardson. It was launched on 20th September 1906. And in this particular stanza, he has taken reference of this ocean liner also. So I hope the stanza is clear to everyone, right? So now let's move ahead and talk about the next stanza. Do you wish to make the mountains bare their head and lay their new-cut forest at your feet? Do you want to turn a river in its bed or plant a barren wilderness with wheat? Shall we pipe aloft and bring you water down from the never-falling cisterns of the snows to work the mills and tramways in your town and irrigate your orchards as it flows? It is easy. Give us dynamite and drills. Watch the iron-shouldered rocks lie down and quake as the thirsty desert level floods and fills, and the valley we have dammed becomes a lake. So did you understand something out of this stanza, children? Yes, in 5th and 6th stanza, the poet is talking about the relation of the machines to the environment. You know, whatever we are doing with the machines, it has its influence on the environment, and this fact cannot be denied. Machines can change landscapes, as written in, and the valley we have dammed becomes a lake. So we are talking about the capability of machines and the ability, the capabilities of machines, that to what extent it can impact, leave an impact or affect others. So machines help humans to deformate the landscape the way they want it to be. For example, they dry up lakes or they flood valleys according to their specific needs. Now, let's have look at the last two stanzas. But remember, please, the law by which we live, we are not built to comprehend a lie. We can neither love nor pity nor forgive. If you make a slip in handling us, you die. We are greater than the peoples or the kings. Be humble as you crawl beneath our rods. Our touch can alter all created things. We are everything on earth except the gods. Though our smoke may hide the heavens from your eyes, it will vanish and the stars will shine again. Because for all our power and weight and size, we are nothing more than children of your brain. Yes, machines are calling them as children of our brain because we humans using our brain have created these machines. So we are nothing more than children of your brain. So in the last two stanzas, if you see, the typography changes because the dream of the perfect machinery suddenly seems to fade away. Machines aren't perfect after all, and nature always wins over. And after all, machines aren't miraculous creations, but nothing more than creations of the human brain. So, yes, it is true that they have revolutionized our lives. And in a way, you can say that they are like miracle to us. But at the same time, we should not forget that they are nothing more than creation of the human brain. Now, let's have a look at the literary devices used in the poem. We have imagery. For example, we can see and hear and count and read and write. So it explains to us the multitask that could be completed by the machine. So you all can visualize the work of machines. So it is to give us the idea of how feasible is the machine or how useful the machine is for the mankind. Next, the poet has also used the device personification in this poem, which means to give human attributes to non-humans. When the poet says, we can pull and haul and push and lift and drive, we can print and plow and weave and heat and light, we can run and jump and swim and fly and dive, we can see and hear and count and write. So the machines are able to pull, push, lift, plow, jump, hear, count, write. The attributes of human beings are given to machines. So the way they have been described by the poet, so yes, they have been personified by Rudyard Kipling. We also find examples of hyperbole, which means a figure of speech using exaggeration. When you present something in a very grand way or exaggerated, manner, like we will serve you 4 in 20 hours a day. We are greater than the peoples and the kings. So in these lines, exaggeration is used. Then we also find example of assonance, which means repetition of two or more vowel sounds. For example, run and jump, across the world, slip and handling are examples of assonance from the poem The Secret of Machines. Children, we also find examples of simile, which means comparing things, dissimilar things, right? Using like or as. So greater than the people of the kings. Then connotation is also used, which suggests beyond what it expresses. For example, heaven suggests sky. Then we also find examples of alliteration, which means repetition of two or more consonant sounds in the same line. For example, we have wilderness with wheat, where w sound is repeated, and we have flood and fills, where f sound is repeated. Flood and fills. So these are the poetic devices, or you can say the literary devices used in the poem The Secret of Machines. Now, let's look at the theme of this poem, which is very important to understand, children. Undoubtedly, Rudyard Kipling in this poem is talking about the significance of machines in life. Machines make many things easier and aid the work of humans. And also in this poem, he talks about the greatness of modern technology. And also the ability to change the nature of all things except the gods, humans. In this poem, he also says that machines cannot replace human beings, because machines cannot feel like humans. They don't have emotions. So if you are expecting any kind of emotion from them, it's not possible, because they cannot feel like humans. So I hope the theme of the poem is understood by each and everyone, because that is something very important to understand. In the very beginning, I had told you that the poem is, like, you can say, divided into 3 different parts. So it covers all these aspects, right? Now, let me conclude this poem. So after reading this poem, we have come to the conclusion. Yes, we can rely on machines for transport and communication, which are getting more complicated and advanced all the time. This is inevitable as we move further into the technological age of computers and increasing automation. One must accept the fact that our lives depend on machines more and more. But then suddenly, some simple machine fails. The ballpoint pen won't function. The computer will not be ready to execute your orders. It can be exasperating. If the machine is faulty, the simple job of mowing the lawn turns into a battle of you and the mower, which assumes a life of its own, thwarts your efforts and refuses to cooperate. The once efficient machine, your friend and servant, has become your enemy. It is very important not to overcross the limits and think rational about machinery. We should not give machines so big responsibilities. For instance, automatic control of space shuttles with humans inside, because it can be risky. Now let's have a look at some of the very important questions that you all have to attempt after understanding the poem. How were the machines created? Mention any 4 tasks that the machines can perform for humans. What does a machine ask of us in return for their unfailing performance? In spite of its accuracy at work, machines do not need what humans always need at the end of work. What's that? The poem appears to be imparting a deadly warning to humanity. Explain. How does the poem describe the superior power of humans? Why do machines say that stars will shine again? And what difference do you notice in the attitude of the machines towards humans in the last 2 stanzas? So all these questions are very important for you. So please attempt these questions, and once you attempt, we all can discuss it in the class. So I hope you all have understood the poem well. Thank you so much for listening and watching the video carefully. Take care.